Good afternoon, everyone. While we wait for our attendees to join us today, do feel free to use the chat to say hello. Let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know what other CQI Quality Week events you may be attending this week. And in a couple of minutes, we shall make a start. We'll just give a couple more minutes for more to join us. It looks as though we've got a truly international audience today, which is great. Unsurprisingly, plenty from across the United Kingdom, but we have attendees from Poland, from Nepal, from India, from Saudi Arabia, Qatar. A couple of people from my own county of Kent, Garden of England. Always good to see some locals. Great. Well, I think we'll make a start. I'm conscious that for many of us it will be lunchtime, so thank you for joining us for this first of our careers week events. Um, Before we kick off the main event, I'd like to spend some time considering some of the key challenges facing quality professionals today, and how this may affect their career plans and prospects. And then we'll go on to talk about what we're facing this week, and today specifically around what a typical quality career looks like. But initially, some consideration of the kind of challenges that quality professionals are facing. There's been a lot of discussion around the role and importance of disruptive and innovative technologies, for which I don't apologise, as technologies are evolving at an unprecedented pace, and this creates a need to adapt. These technologies include AI, automation, and data-driven quality management, of which you'll have seen much coming from the CQI in recent months. There's also an increasing demand for cross-functional collaboration. Quality professionals need to work ever more closely with other departments within their organisation and across complex and increasingly fragile supply chains. At the same time, we're dealing with evolving industry standards and regulatory changes, and I'm sure that many of you will be on tenterhooks to see what comes next in the revision of key standards like ISO 9001, ISO 45001, 14, as well as emerging standards such as the standard for AI management systems. This requires constant learning to make sure that those involved in these standards stay compliant. Skills gaps are also emerging, not just as technology advances, but also as these regulatory and legislative changes occur, which force professionals to continuously upskill in order to remain competent. An increasing challenge facing all professionals is that of balancing career growth with personal life. And there is a right and just increased emphasis on workplace health and safety that extends beyond just physical well-being. Furthermore, many professionals may experience career stagnation or uncertainty about the next steps in their career, which can affect motivation. Finally, though this is by no means an exhaustive list, external factors like economic and job market volatility are impacting career stability, and within organisations, navigating workplace culture and the perception of quality's value is essential to ensure that quality continues to be a priority across the organisation. Given the challenges that quality professionals face, it's vital, therefore, for them to take a proactive approach to managing their career. With the rapid evolution of technologies, for example, quality professionals must take a proactive approach in areas like Quality 4.0. By managing careers proactively, professionals can diversify their skill sets, making themselves adaptable to industry changes. They can also explore lateral moves or even pivot to different sectors, ensuring that they aren't overly dependent on one job role or market. Professionals who actively manage their growth can identify opportunities for advancement or lateral development, which may include seeking mentorship, networking, and community activities, the kind of interpersonal activities which have been set back in recent years, not only by the COVID-19 global pandemic, but also by changing work patterns and places. Being proactive in managing their careers will support quality professionals in adapting to change and help maintain long-term success in a rapidly changing environment. And in this, the CQI is your partner and your professional body supporting you along your professional development journey. So Quality Careers Week is a new initiative from the CQI, comprising a series of online sessions which have been curated to support your career development and progression as a quality professional. Over the course of this week, we have a number of sessions which shine a spotlight on the tools and services that the CQI has available to support you as you consider your future career path, as well as broader sessions on the quality careers landscape and the importance of a diverse workforce. A summary of all these sessions, along with the links to register for them if you've not already done so, are available on quality.org/events. And there is a summary here of the events for you to have a quick look at. Now, in the first of these sessions, we're going to be taking a look at what a typical quality career looks like and how the CQI is developing further tools to help its members navigate their professional pathway. Throughout this presentation, please feel free to ask questions using the Q&A function, and we'll address these at the end of the session, time allowing. But don't feel that you need to wait until the end to ask your questions. Just keep them coming in, and we'll get to them when we have the opportunity. So to begin with, a bit of a teaser, a bit of a question, which is, what have the following in common with a typical career in quality? And what this 2004 vintage style PowerPoint presentation is supposed to represent is, first of all, the Loch Ness Monster, the city of Atlantis, and the perfect song. So what have the following in common with a typical career in quality? Well, I'm going to posit that this is a difficult one to answer, as quality professionals work across very diverse industries: construction, pharmaceuticals, healthcare, logistics, service industries, to name just a few. Each have their own unique standards, practices, regulatory requirements, and professionals in quality can occupy a range of roles within these industries themselves. The scope of quality management encompasses a wide range of functions, from quality control and assurance to compliance, auditing, process improvement, customer satisfaction, and increasingly performance-driven activities. Specific roles, responsibilities, and challenges can vary significantly, and while there remains a core of knowledge, skills, and experience and behaviours which are common to all quality professionals, and which can be explored in the CQI profession map, how they are applied and the relative level of competence across the key areas of context, governance, assurance, improvement, and leadership may differ. Moreover, people become quality professionals through diverse entry routes, with quality evolving as part of a previous role, as the result of a chance opportunity or simply by accident. And I'm sure if we were to do a poll of today's attendees, we would probably have as many different entry routes into quality as we have people on this call. According to recent CQI workforce research, comparatively few quality professionals actively chose quality at the start of their career. And I'm sure that that's something that rings true with most of you. All of this makes it very hard to define what a typical career trajectory in quality might look like. So in answer to the question, what have these things in common with a typical career in quality? I'm afraid the answer is probably that they don't exist. But attempting to provide some clarity over what a typical career in quality looks like has significant benefits for both current and aspiring quality professionals. First of all, in benchmarking, where there's a growing demand from quality professionals, particularly younger ones, to benchmark their skills against peers in the industry. This allows them to assess where they stand and how they can develop further. Secondly, in skills development, the CQI Workforce Insights research highlights that there are notable skills gaps and barriers to career progression. Structured career pathways complemented by clearly defined competence profiles can help address these gaps by providing a roadmap for professionals to follow in their development. In terms of attracting talent, where there's a significant portion of the workforce nearing retirement or planning to change careers, there is an urgent need to attract new people to the quality profession. Clear career pathways provide clarity for aspiring professionals, showing them the potential routes for growth and success in quality. And career pathways can provide that clarity for aspiring professionals, showing them those routes for growth and success. It was for these reasons that the CQI engaged a consortium comprising Catalyst Consulting Limited and the University of the West of Scotland to help us prepare a series of agreed and verified role profiles for quality professionals, and to use this as the basis for creating a career pathways map. This, unsurprisingly, was not without its challenges. An initial interrogation of CQI membership data identified nearly 30,000 different job titles for quality professionals across over 730 different industries. So how on earth do we get this very rich, very diverse and complex picture and narrow it down into something that's meaningful and recognizable in terms of roles which quality professionals will recognize as applying to their own circumstances? How then do we take those roles and try and understand how they relate to each other and what movement from one role to the next can look like? For this, we went through a rigorous process of evidence-based interrogation that began with looking at the membership data that we currently hold, using machine learning in order to try and identify those key factors, those key roles, activities, etc., that sit behind the job titles and membership numbers of the people we work with. We use this to determine some of the key factors which influence the relevance of competence profiles, and then to build a picture of what a competent quality professional could typically look like, dependent on their role or role family. At every stage of this work, at every stage of the project, this work was scrutinised by a project guidance panel of quality professionals, as well as other subject matter experts, and we tested and validated the outcomes of this research throughout, which resulted in nearly 600 touch points from quality professionals into the veracity and applicability of these outcomes. And from this, we were able to start building and testing a career pathways map. Some of the key results from this were clustered industry and sector data, which left us with 21 key industry areas in which quality professionals are most active. We identified 18 key job role types, and we were able to determine the key factors which influence the relevance of the competence profiles related. As I mentioned before, this was an evidence-based process with extensive data analysis, consultation, and testing and verification to ensure what came from the process was robust, was reliable, and represented something that quality professionals could recognise and identify themselves in. As a result, we produced an initial series of 7 typical competence profiles. These 7 account for the majority of job types undertaken by CQI and IRCA members and serve as a foundation or a starting point for ongoing work, exploring the typical competence of those working within quality. It's important to note here that the roles that we're looking at describe the knowledge, skills, and behaviours as determined by the CQI profession map associated with these role types or families. These aren't specific job descriptions, which are so often very specific to a unique role, a unique job within an organisation. But what the profiles, an example of which we're going to look at in just a minute, are able to provide users with are comparators or benchmarks of quality competence, which relate to their own career aspirations or situation. They provide an opportunity to identify strengths and development opportunities against an agreed and verifiable profile of competence. They highlight common competence, which will support individuals to tailor their professional development efforts and career pathways between different roles. And as the typical competence profiles that we've produced describe the competence of different CQI grades also, they can be used to support users in charting their path into and through CQI membership. The profiles are evidence-based and were created from the competence assessments completed by quality professionals from a wide range of industries and countries and from organisations of different sizes. As such, none of these profiles should be treated as a recipe or a standard or a set pathway that needs to be adhered to or complied with, but these provide an indication of the typical competence of other individuals within the quality profession occupying a similar role or working in a similar role family to yourself. Having done so, we are able to support this with building the Quality Careers Pathways map, which describes how those roles, responsibilities, and the typical competence associated with different stages of the quality career relates to one another, and provide an insight into what a career in quality could potentially look like. So just as an illustrative example, I'm sharing here the draft profile for a typical quality manager. This displays a summary of the competence of quality managers against each of the 18 components of competence included in the profession map. They are scored by tier of competence, which was determined by taking the mode average of competence from all the respondents who fitted this particular role profile. They address the 5 core elements of the profession map: context, governance, assurance, improvement, and leadership. Supporting each of these role profiles is a summary of data from members about the job titles associated within each role, as well as a summary of the typical activities that they undertake. This helps build a rich picture and a detailed picture of what each particular role or role family looks like. And it means that an individual whose job title may not be, for example, quality manager, but maybe operational excellence manager or business performance manager, can still identify themselves within this family and determine what the typical competence associated with that role is. They can undertake the same activity by reviewing the typical activities undertaken, which is summarized on the right-hand table. Having produced an initial tranche of 7 typical competence profiles, along with further profiles derived from the interrogation of the membership data, we were able to identify a series of specialisms or areas of concentration of different role types. And again, while these are generalizations, they help us provide an indicative structure or framework around which quality professionals can better understand their career progression options and the competence requirements associated with it. Broadly speaking, we identified quality improvement, quality specialisms, cross-functional quality activities such as HSEQ, quality management, compliance, and quality audit as being those most commonly, frequently occurring clusters or types of roles. So from this, we can start to begin to map particular roles against this nascent framework. Now, before we do so, there are some fundamental principles to bear in mind throughout the creation of this map. First of all, as we've discussed before, pathways are typical. They cannot be absolute, given the variety of career options and pathways that are available, the different entry routes, the different skills requirements, and dependent on role type, industry, geography, etc. So it's important to consider the career pathways map as something that isn't fixed and that doesn't represent an exact recipe to be followed, but something that is illustrative, that provides the key features, the key milestones in a landscape, which quality professionals themselves have a duty, an obligation, and an opportunity to understand and navigate based on their own career prospects and ambitions. Quality roles don't align absolutely with tiers of competence. So there is no such thing, for example, as a quality manager, a tier 3 quality manager. An individual's competence profile is varied with strengths and opportunities for improvement across all 5 areas of the CQI profession map. Each professional's career path will be unique and personal, and there is only so much that can be done in dictating or determining what path an individual should take. Professional pathways are rarely linear, and they don't always follow an upward trajectory. A professional doesn't have to reach a position of leader or director in order to be successful. And a horizontal or diagonal progression through the career map is often appropriate and still represents progress in an individual's quality career journey. Another very important point to note is that the entry routes into quality can be very diverse also, and they are not always at foundation level, with people entering careers in quality at different points in their own profession and at different levels of competence. And with reference to the specialisms we looked at in the previous slide, these are not set or fixed lanes from which, in which a quality professional is stuck or static throughout their career. But professionals can, and often do, move into them and from different specialisms throughout their quality career. So having identified those 7 profiles based on the core roles and identified the different specialisms that could be represented within a quality careers pathways map, we're able to apply those specific roles onto that map and begin to add some structure, some shape to what a career pathway may look like. We can then take the additional roles identified from the initial research for which we have not yet built typical competence profiles and map them against the relevant lanes. For example, in the specialist role, quality engineer leads to supply quality engineer, product quality manager, and possibly security consultant. These are all indicative examples taken from the real quality roles, the real typical quality roles undertaken by our members. The same can be applied to specialisms such as HSEQ, to improvement roles, and to compliance. So while this map is by no means complete and exhaustive, it uses the roles that we identified through that research project to start to add a framework, to provide a framework which will let individual quality professionals identify where they sit within this map and help identify what the potential options are for them in their career trajectory. As we mentioned previously, quality careers are not necessarily linear, but they can be. And it's not unusual to see from our membership data a member who has started as quality coordinator progressing to quality manager, and their onward career trajectory could be towards quality director. Similarly, the pathway from auditor to lead auditor is well known and well established. However, equally common, we can see the progression from quality coordinator across to a different specialism, for example, from quality management into an audit role. Now, the career pathway from there could well lead further on towards lead auditor, but equally, it may take an individual into certification and compliance. From certification and compliance, an individual may find themselves staying within that swim lane, or they may find themselves moving into an improvement role, for example, business improvement manager. So there are diverse ways to achieve the same ultimate career role, if that is what an individual's career ambitions and objectives are. And one can apply as many examples across this map, plotting pathways that suit an individual's knowledge, skills, experience, and professional ambitions as they so choose. So the career pathways map is designed to be a starting point for an individual starting in any particular entry role in quality that can take them in any direction they so choose, dependent on their own career prospects and ambitions, the needs and expectations of their employer, their industry, or other factors which influence an individual's career choice. So the career pathways map allows us to provide that structural framework, which, while not definitive, describes potential routes into a quality career and the variety of pathways individuals can take through it. It can provide awareness of career options, opportunities, and potential, as well as identify opportunities for movement between specialisms. The typical competence profiles, which we saw earlier, provide waymarkers along these pathways, and as they are based on the specific competence of typical users, users can create targeted professional development plans which will help them move from the requirements from the typical competence profile of one role to the next, focusing their development in those areas of the profession map where it is of most benefit to them. For those seeking to specialise, the Pathways map offers that roadmap to transition into new areas, whether in leadership, technical expertise, or emerging fields such as data analysis and sustainability, all of which are aspects which can appear in future evolutions of the Pathways map. Recognising that career progression is often non-linear, these pathways can provide insights into how professionals can shift roles or specialisms, and this flexibility is particularly beneficial for those seeking to reskill or pivot those careers. Pathways also highlights that entry into quality is not confined to the foundational level, and with reference to the map shown in the previous slide, any of those particular roles can represent an entry point from those from other industries or disciplines. The Pathways map helps clarify how different roles relate to one another and presents a structured approach to career progression, helping quality professionals identify potential roles and opportunities for vertical as well as horizontal career progression. And by outlining the knowledge, skills, and behaviours associated with different roles as milestones along those pathways, it enables professionals to set realistic career goals and develop strategies to achieve them. So in this, the Pathways map has the potential to be much more than just a route map. It's a strategic asset to support the professional growth of members while contributing to the broader development of the quality profession. Now, what comes next? The Career Pathways map and typical competence profiles launch in earnest in November of this year. In the meantime, we're very keen to hear your own stories, your testimonials, to help enrich, highlight, and demonstrate the journeys that we're able to demonstrate through the career map. So as part of today's presentation, I have a request for your support in helping us enhance these assets further by telling us your story. If you're willing and able to take part in providing us with a testimonial, then please email policy@quality.org to complete a short questionnaire which will help us enrich the profession map with your professional development story. The kind of questions that we're looking to answer are how you got your career in quality, the roles that we've looked at previously that have been your stepping stones in that quality career pathway, the key responsibilities in your role, how you've used the profession map to support your professional development, the challenges you face in the role, sources of motivation and advice that you would give to someone considering a career in quality. So if you are able to participate, please email policy@quality.org to share your story. In the meantime, the CQI has a wealth of resources to help support you in planning and preparing your career progression journey already. Most especially the CQI profession map, which if you're not already familiar with, I encourage you to go and explore. All CQI and IRCA members are obliged and strongly encouraged to participate in some forms of CPD. and the importance of strategic, planned, and specific professional development activities following that plan, do, study, act cycle cannot be overstated. The CQI also has a mentoring scheme, linking up senior, experienced, motivated, and passionate quality professionals who want to share their knowledge, their experience, their insights with those who are looking for support in planning and developing their career further. Within the CQI website, we also have the Quality Careers Hub, the Quality Learning Hub, the e-library, and training pathways, all of which are there to help enhance and develop your professional development programme. Further to which, Careers Week, the CQI Quality Careers Week continues, as we saw at the top of the programme, with a range of webinars providing different resources and insights to help support you in your professional journey. Oops. So thank you for your time this afternoon. I would like to encourage you to continue asking questions in the Q&A in the Q&A box, and we will do what we can to address some of those questions that are coming in. If you just bear with me while I take slides down so I can see the questions. Thank you very much. Now we have a number of questions here around navigating lateral career development between industries or between specialisms, which I think is a very useful and valid question. I think one of the key points here is that the typical competence profile of quality professionals contains those core knowledge, skills, and behaviours as described in the profession map, which can be applied across, regardless of industry, regardless of specialism. So, sorry, the questions just disappeared. So by focusing on those core and common areas of competence, it's possible then to identify where the additional industry-specific knowledge and behaviours will help facilitate that move between different industries. Sorry, one of the key factors there is the context of the industry in which you're operating. So while the core knowledge, skills, and behaviours of a quality role are described within that profile, an understanding of the unique nature of an industry in which you'd like to move is part of the key responsibility, one of the key objectives of that CPD planning. We have a couple of other questions here around the job roles data versus the quality profile versus the competence profiles. Now, as we mentioned before, with each competence profile, there is a summary of job titles, as well as the roles and responsibilities associated with those roles, which are designed to form a package to really provide a detailed look at what that role looks like. So when navigating the career pathways map, you'll be able to see not just the typical competence profile, what that means in terms of the knowledge, skills, and behaviours contained within the profession map. But also the job titles that may be unique to your own circumstance, your own organization, your own industry. So these are tools which are designed to enable you to identify your particular role within them. So a couple of very interesting questions here about communicating your professional development plan with line managers or with colleagues where they are not quality professionals and they see progression in a more linear way. And hopefully this is an area where the career progression, the career pathways map can form that framework for a discussion. We understand that quality professionals can often work within quite a closed environment, closely with colleagues, but where they're reporting through to other teams outside their organisation, there is a lesser appreciation of what quality professionals do and how it affects the business. I'm sure that many of us have been on the receiving end of accusations of being inspectors or clipboard warriors, where we're trying to move to a place where quality professionals are appreciated as business partners and professionals who add value across the organisation. Now, one of the key challenges in getting that message across is describing what it is a quality professional does, how it does it, and how it relates to other parts of the business, how those different roles relate to each other. So by providing this framework, we're able to see a summary of each different role in a indicative hierarchy and describe the routes from one to another. When you combine that with your targeted CPD plan, which is an integral part of your CQI membership, there's the ability to translate what you are doing as a quality professional in your career ambitions and aspirations to those outside quality who are less familiar with what you are trying to do. So I would encourage you all to consider this as part of a package along with your targeted CPD planning as ways of communicating what we do and how we do it with those less familiar with quality than ourselves. A question here around how to identify our own skills to help us jump from one role to another. Now, this is part of the development plan for the typical competence profiles product, and in conjunction with the Quality Learning Hub, where there are two opportunities here. First of all, to be able to look at the knowledge, skills, and behaviours described in a typical competence profile, to be able to review that yourself and describe how strongly you feel that you address those knowledge, skills, and behaviours indicators. And that will give you a ready indication of where there are areas where you could develop, or areas where you're already particularly strong, and where that can translate into other roles that are playing to your strengths or interests. Now, in the fullness of time, we'll be able to offer a self-assessment tool where you'll be able to produce your own unique typical competence profile to be able to do a direct comparison with any of these within the profession map. And already you're able to take one profile against the other, against another typical profile within the map, and identify where there are differences in the shape of those profiles. In terms of communicating and socializing these roles with other professional bodies, this is part of our communications plan to highlight the roles that quality professionals undertake and how they support organizations across organizations across all their activities. quality is an area that is often poorly understood and poorly appreciated. So this is a real tool to help us in the same way as we were describing earlier, using it to describe to consult with line managers who are less familiar with what quality professionals do, but to use this with other functions within the business to engage with them and communicate with them. There's also the opportunity here for those who are not quality professionals to look at the profession map and identify for themselves where they are undertaking activities which may well be considered the traditional the purview of quality professionals. So there's an opportunity to take what we do out to other to partner bodies, to partner professions, and allow them to scrutinize their own knowledge, skills, and behaviors in terms of what we do as quality professionals ourselves. We have another question here, and we've still got about 5 minutes, so do please keep them coming in if you have any further questions. There's a question here about addressing resistance to changes in improvement, especially where organizational culture is concerned. Now, we're very aware that organizational culture is a concern, is an area of interest in studying, not just for quality professionals, but for many others as well. And there are certainly challenges in changing and shifting organizational culture and appreciating the value and opportunity presented by embracing change and looking for opportunities for improvement. I would say that this attitude, the factor of continual improvement is very much at the core of what quality professionals do. It's one of the 5 key areas of the CQI profession map. So being able to articulate the potential, the benefit, but also the risks and how they can be mitigated, how new products, new services, new tools can be assured in their deployment, in their use, is really a core opportunity, a core duty of quality professionals. Now, where this is something that quality professionals excel in, they have the opportunity to engage with their peers through mentoring, through tutoring, through passing on that knowledge and information. Where it's an area that quality professionals feel that they need to develop, there are many resources which can be identified through the Quality Learning Hub and through the other resources listed on the CQI website that can help quality professionals develop strategies, develop tools and techniques to help communicate the importance of change and indeed the urgency of change and the role that quality professionals can take in supporting that. One final question before we wrap things up. How will the quality professional role change in the face of advances in technology, especially AI, and will some quality roles disappear? I think this is a very difficult question to ask without the benefit of a crystal ball. But I think what we can be sure of is that the way in which quality is done will ultimately change over time. And this is why there's an importance, there's an urgency to quality professionals making themselves aware, making themselves familiar with the challenges, but also the opportunities presented by digital technologies in general, AI in particular. And the CQI has invested much research effort and much development effort in producing resources to help CQI members and other professionals do so. Indeed, at the beginning of October, we will be launching our latest offering on the Quality Learning Hub, helping quality professionals better understand the implications and opportunities associated with artificial intelligence. So I'd encourage you to look out for that for those resources when they're advertised, which, as I say, will be at the beginning of October. With no more questions coming in, may I just draw this to a close by saying thank you very much for your time and your attention, but most especially for your questions. It's always appreciated, and I hope we've been able to explore some of these areas in a bit more detail. As I said before, if you are willing and able to share your own story, your own testimonial, then please do email policy@quality.org. Additionally, if you have any further questions about the typical competence profiles and career pathways map, do contact us at policy.org, and also look out for the news and announcements that will be coming at the beginning of November. Once these assets have been launched, we'll have a further webinar to help explain and talk through the assets in more detail, how you can use them, and how they can support your quality career planning and progression. And in the meantime, I hope you enjoy the rest of the Quality Careers Week. I hope you find it beneficial, and thank you very much.